Testing. Blah, 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 blah.
Ready, set, go.
It's time for the Coach Amy and Coach Liz show.
A podcast for endurance athletes by two athletes, two coaches, and a physical therapist.
We are your hosts, Coach Amy
And Coach Liz.
coming to you from
Kansas City.
Hello. You. Okay, so we're going to talk today about our first, I don't want to call them failures because we were actually talking about
my
them as
gosh,
failures
wait,
first.
wait.
What?
Oh, I have this great, fantastic quote about,
Okay, what is it?
oh my gosh, I should have brought it. It was like, once you're through a failure, we no longer call them failures. It's like, that's when we start calling them growth opportunities. Or like, it's like when you're in the failure, when you're in the moment, it feels like a failure. But then once you're through it, we always change the language around it. And so it's not like, that's where we do most of our growing.
Yes.
It's such a great quote. We'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it, yeah.
Oh, because it's one of my favorites.
Okay, yay. Okay. So we'll call these we'll call them initial failures that became growth opportunities. That's what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
We're each going to give an example of one from our first one. That was the point. Was the first time that we had a failure. Well, let's put it around quotations. So you go, Liz, first.
I can see Amy looking at my notes.
No, I didn't. I can't.
Oh
well, I
my
can't
gosh.
even read that from here. Are you
I
kidding
know.
me?
Well, I can't even read it looking here because my handwriting looks like I'm having a cardiac event. Anyway, I digress. So, so you had just suggested that we do a podcast on our first failures, and I was like, oh, there's so many I could pick from.
Right.
So, but I was thinking back to back when you're first introduced to sports, and back when I was like, you're young and you play soccer and basketball and all of those things, and
Do you?
well,
I didn't. Okay, you did. Sorry, I interrupted
did.
you.
And if you are fortunate enough to live in a community that offers those, and
Yeah.
you have finances and stuff, so yes, I did. I got kicked off all of them because I sucked. But so this is, but this is the thing is I look back to that now, and because I wasn't I wasn't fast, I was not aggressive. I mean, I honestly still really don't give a shit about sports ball. Like, I can't tell you one thing about the sports balls. But I think the mistake, and this wasn't like a conscious mistake at all, but I feel like it really, I think, profoundly impacted my my mindset was because I wasn't like the fast one or the ones that and if you weren't fast, the coaches didn't pay attention. And so it automatically sent a message about your place on the team,
yeah.
right? And so I assumed, and I can say this now, I didn't know at the time that this was happening, but I assumed that I didn't have a place in sports. And so it just removed me from any engagement at all. Like, I remember even in gym class, we had to do like the high jump. And I used to go and hide. Like, I'd hide around the corner. Until this little shit, he would tell on me. He was like the class bully, and he'd tell on me. So then I'd have to go do the high. My vertical's like literally 2 inches. I did it at the sprint center. No,
I have
0.
a terrible vertical jump too.
Absolutely terrible. 2 inches. It's like, it doesn't even register at the sprint center experience. They're like, shocking, but it was mortifying. And then I'd have to go do the high jump, which I couldn't do, so I'd like run into the mat in front of the whole class. I mean, it was really pretty mortifying, right? And I don't know how I kind of stumbled into swimming, but even when I got into swimming, I mean, I was never a fast swimmer by swimming standards, and I didn't swim for the most intense team in town, and it took me like probably 40 years to. And actually, you know what changed it? When I started coaching and I watched like young kids I was coaching and then even adults I was coaching, and watching how they felt like they didn't have a place in sport because they weren't the fast ones, or they weren't like, their motivation for doing it, even if they were fast, wasn't to win it. They weren't super aggressive. They didn't have that like the mentality that we associate with really your right to play in sports, especially in the United States. And I started, and I was like, what the hell are we doing?
Right.
We have these, like, I would coach young kids, and you'd have these kids that were just, I remember this one little guy, and he was so awkward, and just like, he came to start swimming, and he was socially awkward, and like, it was just heartbreaking. And I watched him over the course of our season learn to swim breaststroke. And it almost makes me tear up because by the end, he was so proud of what he'd done. Yeah. And he'd mastered this thing and he'd reached his own personal goals. And it really, he was so excited about it. And it didn't matter to him somehow that like, he still wasn't the fast kid on the team, but you just had this opportunity to really impact somebody's life, and it didn't matter why they were participating in sports. And it made me realize that had been something that I had carried with me, that like I was not, I was participating, but it's like the people who say, I'm only doing a 5K or I'm only doing a 10K or I'm only doing it for fun, and totally discounting their participation because it's not like the really aggressive stuff. And so I don't think that was and the other thing that really drove that home for me was actually when I lived in New Zealand, and there was a totally different approach to sports there in terms of give it a go is sort of like the country motto, and it's like everybody,
I love that.
right? And so it's like, of course people participate, and there isn't this mentality around like having to like make an excuse for yourself to participate in sports even if you aren't like in it to win it or the best person on the team. And so that it wasn't a conscious mistake I made. I think it's really like a cultural disservice that we do to people in terms of participating in sports, and that is that is like probably the one thing I feel most passionate about, because it's just like your ability to move and how you participate is not only your own thing, but it's such a powerful force in your life. Like it's such a catalyst for so many things. And it took me so many years of feeling like I didn't belong and I had to make excuses and I was embarrassed and I felt shame because I wasn't in it to like be this, I didn't want to be on the premier soccer travel team, and I got demoted off of that, and I got demoted off the basketball teams, and all of these things. And it's like, no. Like we need an adjustment in our mindset, in our cultural mindset about, how and why we get to participate in sports, and it's your own thing. Yeah. Right. And so I feel like that really took me such a long time to understand. And I hope, that's the first thing that I hope to instill in the team that I work with. Like, F it, man. You got your own, it's your journey. Yeah. You decide. Nobody gets to tell you do you. You do you. And everybody's going to support you in that. Yeah. Right. You're not you doing you by yourself.
Right.
Take
I love
that
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
mine is more like a very specific example.
Yeah.
Because, and I think people will be really surprised because there's maybe this perception that, you're a runner and you qualified for Boston. You must be like really good, runner. And in some respects, I naturally was a relatively little fast runner, like just naturally had a little bit of that ability. But so like on the playground, right? Like I would be the first one to finish around. And that's how I was attracted to the sport, was just in gym class. What's the warm up? Mm-hmm. Take these laps. And I was like, well, I kind of just want to get this over with. And so I would run as fast as I could. And the track coach was like, excuse me, you're now going to be on the track team. And I started off with like hurdles.
Oh,
like
God.
Literally because I was okay. I was a gymnast when I was young. So I, had the timing kind of ability, that kind of thing. Not a vertical jump, a forward jump. And like vaulting, I had a little bit of speed from that. So that is where I started. So my first failure was my first cross country meet ever.
Oh, gosh.
So let me back up and tell that little story. Okay. So first of all, I don't even know what cross country is. So I'm sitting at the kitchen table. I can remember this very clearly. And my mom gets this phone call and she's like talking. I'm like, who are you, talking to? And she gets off the phone and she says, you're being, recruited for the girls cross country team in high school. Okay. So this is before my freshman year. So the summer before. And, do you want to do it? And I was like, yes. Oh my gosh. I want to, like, that sounds like fun. And, you go to the first picnic and you meet all the people and you're like, I love these people. And you start training on the road. Okay. I don't even know what cross country is. I never asked. You run on the grass.
I know.
You run on the grass.
It's terrifying.
And it's super hilly. And, and it's 2 miles. This is not hurdles on the track. Okay. This is not the 400. This is not.
Oh, God.
Okay. So, and I look back and I was like, how could I have been so naive?
Oh,
and eventually,
harsh.
Okay, but I was kind of naive. Not in a bad way, just like
How would you know?
inexperienced. But eventually, we would do training on the grass. We would do 800 repeats. But this is my first track meet, and still kind of summer. So I show up and we've got these spikes. I'm like, okay. So we just start running on this grass and these hills, and I end up not finishing this race. So somewhere along the line, I don't know how far it is, I'm like, oh my God, this is hard. And I'm throwing up, this is too hard. And here's what happened though. I didn't finish that race, but there were guys on the cross, because we had the women and men's cross country team, and these experienced juniors, seniors on the cross country team were there when I was during that failure, literally walking off the course, and them like holding my hands, helping me, and not making me feel like a failure. Aww. This is okay. This happens. Yeah. Come back and do it again. Yes. You're going to learn from this. And really, to me, I was like, I found my people. Oh. This is a community. So I kind of had like this opposite experience with that first failure, in that there was this, and I really think this is the running community. Yes. Like, this is my experience with the running community, and I have stuck with it ever since. And it was that very first experience. Now, we had great coaches and everything else too, and a lot more other things happened to keep me in the sport. But that was my first failure. Aww. And ever since then, changed.
I love that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
That's my little story.
Oh, can I insert one?
Yes,
extra?
Of course.
So I have to tell you. So I swam in college, and then I was done with my senior year of college swimming, and so I, was done, and I decided, what the hell, I'll go out for track.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I had always run to cross train, and I had some friends that ran. So I'd been running for a long time, but just to cross train for swimming. And so I go out, and it's our very first track meet. And I'm a distance person. So I'm doing, I think it was like the 10K in college. And
that's a tough one.
Well, I mean,
10K is tough. That is a really tough race.
I mean, okay, but like swimming was my thing. And so I was like, I don't know what this is. This is fun. I like the people. I'm like, so sure, it was going to be hard. But, I didn't have much on the line, except I was standing at the start of the track. And, I would love to say that the stands were full and there were all these people, but it's a track meet. Who am I kidding? There were probably like one person there. But nonetheless, we're standing there and the gun goes off and I trip. And everybody in the race takes off around the track and I am laying there like my first track meet with both spectators, face planted down. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It was actually really funny. And my school was small. I mean, it was hilarious. Like,
did you get up?
Oh yeah, I ran. My knees were bloody. My hands were bloody. I think I hit my face. We just kept going, girl. Right. You're in it to win it. Just kidding.
Well, it. Sometimes these little bobbles that happen like this actually can give you some steam to like even run a better race, which that's a whole other podcast.
It was funny. But I mean, I think my friends were there, and it was funny. I mean, I feel like now I tell it and it sounds like it was maybe a little mortifying, but it was fine. It's
embarrassing. Fine. I mean, it's a little embarrassing.
It is a little embarrassing.
But
I fall a lot.
But you got
I used to fall a lot.
But you got back up.
I did.
And you did it.
I did.
You didn't walk off and go,
I didn't. I ran right through it, baby.
Well, because you didn't get hurt.
No.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Okay, so as an adult, what was your biggest?
No, I'm not. There's too many. There's a lot of failures. You go.
Oh. Well, I mean, I definitely feel like my first
adult
failure was coming into the mindset that rest is the enemy. I mean, I just blew myself apart.
Okay, so like not doing recovery. We actually talked about that.
Wouldn't recover, wouldn't sleep. Yeah.
Okay, I just thought of my adult. Well, is a college adult?
Yes. I mean, I feel like, sure.
Okay, so in the same theme of like I found my people, the running community, right? I went to college and I wasn't going to be running for the I was like, okay, that's not going to be part of the experience. And I rushed and joined a sorority and all that, and I was like, I miss the running community and the running people. Well, we should have found like the local run club. But instead we decided to be a walk-on on the Texas Christian University cross country team.
What?
Yeah. It was not I have to say,
At TCU?
at TCU, I did walk on cross country. Okay, but we failed.
Yeah.
We did not last. Now, here's a couple of reasons why I think. One, I don't like to run in the heat, and it was Texas in the summer, and it was like 150 degrees, right? And I'm trying to keep up with these people, and and back in the day, I don't know that they still do this, but back in the 80s, I didn't weigh very much, okay, and I was told to lose weight.
Oh yeah, that's
and what was going to be literally part of my walk-on was stepping on a scale. And my nutrition regimen was salads.
Oh my gosh, that gives me highs.
I know, it makes you sad a little bit. And so with that approach, then what I ended up happening to me is I had a resurgence of mononucleosis, and I was basically in the infirmary for a week, sleeping the entire time and on medication, and that was it. I quit.
No.
So
that's like Lauren Fleshman, Good for a Girl, that book. She talks about that history of the running culture in college and that kind of stuff, and exactly what you're talking about. It's a great book.
Actually, I know for a fact, because I've had some athletes that I've treated that are scholarship athletes, and I won't tell you where they've gone.
Yeah.
But so maybe this was about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I got a call from a coach that said, "What the hell? She's out of shape and fat." And I was like, "Oh my God, she's not injured."
I mean,
and she wasn't fat.
No, it's really dangerous.
It is dangerous. So I think it probably still does exist.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that there's change occurring.
I think, like that book, Good for a Girl by Lauren Fleshman, is a must read.
We'll put that in the
if you
show
have
notes.
interest
Yeah,
in
that's
this topic.
Yeah. So this has gone in our podcast is kind of going in a different direction on a topic here we're both very passionate about. The first time I met you, this isn't our, we have a podcast.
Oh God.
Where we explain how we met each other, right? And my first impression of you, literally you were yelling at someone on the phone about nutrition supplements. or it was just like, what was it? It was like, replacement diet things or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but you were very passionate about it. We both have but anyways, so that was a contribution to my failure. And I would have liked to have been able to, that would have been fun for me to be a walk-on and to be able to have stuck that out. Yeah. I think. But
we live and learn.
We live and learn. And as it turns out, I didn't need to be running at the time.
No.
Yeah.
No, we've ended up where we're supposed to be.
Yes.
And so, I don't know.
Share your first failures with us. We all have failures. These are not, Liz and I don't just have 2 failures.
Oh,
we have many more, but we're not going to bore you with.
I could write a book on what not to do.
Oh, yeah. So.
But that's why we are here where we are.
Yeah. And we want to hear what you guys have to say about the topic. You can share your comments on our landing page, which is the Coach Amy and Coach Liz Show.com. Did I say that right?
I think so. Okay. Is that our website? Who knows? What's going on?
Thanks so much for listening. And remember,
we are in this together. Until next time.